Hello, everyone, and welcome to Therapeutic Tea Tuesdays with me, life coach Miss Starr. And yes, every Tuesday, I am so excited because it gives me a chance to have a special guest on air and we get to motivate and empower you. So stick around right here on Red Media Radio in this lovely platform. And yeah, I have a new sister in Christ, and I'm so excited that she's here. Her name is Jill. And Jill, would you introduce yourself to our lovely audience?
Oh, what a blessing to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so thrilled. Yeah, I'm from San Diego, California, born and raised and been here my whole entire life. It's kind of a coastal city and it's kind of close to Mexico, but we have suburbia, we have city, we have a little bit of everything, and we have the ocean. So, yep, I'm a San Diego native. And we have rain today, which is highly unusual. So, it's amazing.
Well, welcome, Jill from San Diego. I haven't been yet, but I look forward to going.
Well, when you come, I want to know about it because I
Okay,
want to meet up with you.
I promise
that,
I
would be,
will.
that would be amazing to see you in person.
Yes. Oh, the feelings are mutual, Jill. And to our lovely audience, I'm so excited. Jill is someone who I connected with online, and I was so impressed because she's a God-fearing woman, because she's a mother, because she's a confidence coach, and so much more that we're gonna drop during this 1 hour awesome interview. So I'm so excited. And Jill, before we dive deep, how are you feeling? How has your week been?
I'm excited. You know, when you're helping women, it fills you up because I'm in my God's purpose doing what I do. Every day is an amazing new experience. So I'm feeling great. It's a great week.
Yes, it is. And I love it, Jill, because your energy matches mine.
That's right.
So, audience, the name of this lovely interview is Breakthrough Boundaries and Business. So we're gonna dive deep and you'll get to know why it was the name. Jill, one of the first things where we connect with the most is that you are a God-fearing woman. Jill, let the audience know background and your journey on being a God-fearing woman.
Well, it's interesting because my parents put me in Sunday school when I was 5 years old in this little tiny community church. And in that church, I got to know Jesus. I got my first Bible and I learned John 3:16. And that verse has stayed with me my whole entire life. And that's when I accepted Jesus. And so that was my foundation at such a young age. And honestly, when we're teenagers, we veer away from it because we know everything. When I was
Right.
in my early 20s, I was a little rebellious in that I didn't want to go to church. I very, very egocentric, and you just don't know what you don't know when you're 20s. Then I got married, and a short while later became a mom. And that's when I remembered, hey, that Jesus relationship that I had that started when I was 5 years old, I need it in my life now more than ever. Because that's where my groundedness comes from. That's where my peace comes from. That's where my courage comes from. That's my firm foundation to help me step into uncomfortable things when I'm feeling a little bit afraid or nervous. God gives me the courage and I step out in faith, and it always turns out just fine because God is always with us. And so I really lean into my relationship with Jesus in my business, in my personal life. It's in every part of my life. And I want God to lead all of it because God's ideas are the best ideas. And so it's been an amazing journey. It comes out, I talk about God in my workshops. I talk about God with my one-on-one clients. You've got to believe in something greater than yourself.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're never going to have that peace and that guidance. It's just amazing the transformation that, I have peace when things are crazy. Other people don't have that because unfortunately they don't know Jesus. So they don't have that. So, and I want them to have that. I want
Yes.
them to seek that because they can have it too. It's free. God loves all of us. So God's a very important part of my life. Very important.
Oh, Jill, I love it. I resonate with it so much because 2 points I want to pick up on what you're saying. It's you're a beautiful woman of God, but you mentioned like when people don't have peace, we have peace because we trust in Jesus. And it's a peace that overpasses even our own understanding. I'm like, why am I so calm when everything around me is crazy? But like you said, it's God and it's
It
free.
is. It is. It is. You just have to reach out and be in relationship with him and ask him. He knows our needs before we know what they are. That's the
Yeah.
amazing thing. He knows the beginning, the middle, and the end. And so we have to trust that wherever we are, we're right where we're supposed to be. It's
Yes.
amazing. Yeah, it
Kudos
kind of
to
helps you surrender. You surrender in a way that gives you peace. It's crazy how it works.
you. Yes. Oh, audience, I hope y'all got your tea and journal because Jill is already dropping some inspirational seeds right now. And I love it. Jill, kudos to your parents too, that at 5 years old they put you in Sunday school. And Jill, you mentioned something. You said, Amber, and to our lovely audience, there was a verse, John 3:16. What does that verse say, Jill, that got you connected to Jesus
Oh,
and when you were just beginning?
that is the most important verse in the Bible. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. Accept Jesus as your Savior. It's just changes everything. It changes things in that we don't have the fear of dying because
Yes.
we know we have everlasting life if we believe in him and we surrender and admit that we have come short of the glory of God. He loves us and gives us grace. It's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, it is amazing. Thank you, Jill. I wanted the audience to really own in on that verse and why you got connected to it just such at a young age, which is phenomenal.
Right? 5 years old. Amazing. I got my first little Bible with my little name printed on it. It was amazing.
I
Did
could relate to you.
yeah,
I
they did that, but they did that one thing right. If nothing else, they did that right.
Yes. Oh, I love it. And I like even what you said too, Jill. You mentioned that during your teenage years, right? Oh my goodness, we want to do our own thing. And I'm telling you, even in my 20s, early 20s, to be put a time frame on it. I tell you, I it was just like it was chasing because everywhere I'd be at the car dealership, somebody be talking about Jesus. I'd be at the grocery store, I'd be at a car wash. I said, all right. I said, okay, I get it, but your heart has to be open to wanting to hear from it because I grew up in church as well and my family took me there as well. So having that foundation from your family is so important to all the lovely parents as well.
Yeah, God will find us. He wants to be in relationship with us. So if we're avoiding him, he's going to find ways to reach us. It's amazing. So yeah, he was trying to get you back and he got me back. He got my attention. He'll get your attention. It's amazing. But yeah, today I seek that relationship daily with him and I know the importance of it because I have nothing without God. Nothing. I am nothing without God.
Yes,
And I
I
and I
agree.
know that.
Yes, I am nothing without God too, Jill. And Jill, just even as you're speaking to me, you just glow. You're radiating. I love your heart necklace in your background too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just my home office, and I love hearts, so I as many hearts as I can have. I try not to collect too many, but I love hearts. They're just pretty
Right.
and fun. Hearts and sunflowers.
I know heart. I just think of which is in First John, that God is love. So, and the heart symbol resembles that love.
That's right. I never made that connection, but you're absolutely right. Yes. Yeah. Where
Oh,
there's love, there's Jesus. So, yeah, you're right.
oh, awesome, Jill. We were talking about parents, and speaking of parents, you are a mother. Jill, let us
Yes.
know some demographics on your labor, your kids, and where they are now.
Oh, man. So, I became the mother that I didn't have. I didn't grow up with a great mom. She had alcoholism in her life, my whole childhood. And so I resonated or committed that I was going to be the mother that I didn't have. And
Wow.
God was so good. God led me. And I was there. I was consistent. I'm not going to say I was perfect, but they had more consistency growing up than I ever did. And I have a son and I have a daughter, and they're about 3 years apart, and they're all grown up now. My son just turned 35, and my daughter's 32, and they're both living amazing lives, responsible humans, and they love their mom unconditionally, which is amazing, and they want to spend time with me. And that is just, I'm grateful. I have so much gratitude around that, because once they get their own lives and they're off doing their own thing, that means, you've done your job, but then you miss them. And then it feels like, well, now they don't really need me. So now they really love their mom. And it's neat. The relationship that I have with my children is different than the relationship that I had with my mom, because she was emotionally neglectful and unavailable, right? And I've forgiven for all that. I've worked through all of that, but I was
Right.
emotionally available to them, and I was there. And boy, did it make a huge difference in their lives. And I feel like my daughter wrote an angel poem, and she was in like third grade, and she's describing this angel, golden hair and blue eyes. And if I could be anything like this angel, it was a little poem. And I'm grade, 9 years old. And I read it and I was like, wow, that's really amazing how creative you are. And that angel is my mom. Oh,
Oh,
Amber, I just bawled my eyes out. And I looked up at Jesus and I said, I broke the cycle. I did it differently, and their experience was different than mine was. I was the mom that I didn't have. I really succeeded in that with your guidance. It was such a profound moment for me to realize I fulfilled my goal of turning that, making it different for them. So it's been amazing. It's been amazing. They're both working in their fields. They both have college degrees of their choice. They're both in healthy relationships. One is married, my son, and I might get a grandchild at some point. They're,
yay.
yeah, that would be a big blessing. It's just like I just revel at them and I learn from them, and they teach me things. We teach each other. And what's really cool with my kids is that when there's really something important going on in their life, really something important like career defining or like important decisions, they dial me up and
All
they
right
call me.
now.
And that's when I know they still want mom in their life, and they still want someone to love on them and give them a little guidance. And it fills my heart up. It just swells it up. It's a blessing. I'm grateful, because I don't try to tell them how to live their lives. I release them to God. They're capable. They can make decisions. But when they come to me in those moments, oh, I just cherish them.
Yes. Oh, Jill, I love it. Congratulations to being a God-fearing mother. And I love to hear the good news of your kids, and especially what you mentioned, that profound moment for you that
Oh,
you had with the letter by your daughter. Oh, that is absolutely so awesome.
That was a gift, wasn't it? An
It
unexpected
was.
gift, really. That was God's way of speaking to me, I believe. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Um, Jill, with that being said, I want the audience to really own in on that. Jill, what would you say to a mother who is God-fearing, but and I'm not a mom yet, but I love to learn myself. And they say, I'm trying to be a God-fearing mother, but I want to be their friend, but I don't, there's a boundary issue. What tips in your eyes and along your journey of 30 years into parenthood, what would you say to that mother?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so when I was mothering them and guiding and spiritually leading them and teaching them rules, right and wrong, and all that good stuff, I was their mother. I was not their friend. The friendship came when they became adults and I released them to God to be on their own, to make their own decisions. And that's when you're stopping the parenting per se. That's when you are there to be available, to love on them, support them, and watch them grow, and not interject your opinion about everything and give advice only when it's asked. That's when really the friendship begins, because now they're an adult and they're more on your level. But I say that people that confuse the friend and the parenting, I don't agree with it. I believe that we are the parents and they're there to guide them. You can't be both. When they're little, you need to set the boundaries and the rules. And my daughter says to me today, I'm really thankful, Mom, for all of the rules and all of your expectations that you set with me, because it helped me learn to be responsible and respectful. I never thought I'd ever hear that, because she gave me the worst time of my life when I was doing it. Oh my gosh, she would fight me on everything and backtalk me on everything. And I'll tell you, you get weary as a mom. They
Right.
break you down, they tire you. And I say this, as a mom, give yourself grace. Perfection doesn't exist. Trust God. If you make a mistake, that's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. Just
Yes.
one foot in front of the other, one day at a time. Don't try to be this perfect image, because there's only one perfect image, and that's Jesus.
Mm.
So just trust that God's going to continue to lead you, and love yourself unconditionally and give yourself grace.
Jill, thank you for that. As you were speaking, I was like, let me ask her about that. And it's interesting that you say that too, because I feel like my mom gave that to me. Oh my goodness, especially during the teenage, I would back talk just like how you mentioned with your daughter. But as I got older and my mind developed fully at 25 and on, now I'm in my 30s, it is absolutely amazing, because she's like my friend, and we're sharing things. And like you said to your daughter, I had to go back and I was like, Mom, I'm sorry that I got an attitude. I'm sorry that I skipped school that one time. I'm sorry that
Yeah.
it's the love that you ladies have for us. We come out and we talk and we thank you.
Oh, it's amazing. And it's being a parent is hard. You have so much pressure to be everything and do everything. But the reality is, if you're feeling tired and worn out, then you're doing a great job. That means you're engaged and you're working hard at it and you really love your babies. And so the moms that always worry that they're not doing a good enough job are the moms that are doing a great job, because they
Yes.
care about, because it's important to them. So I always tell them, love on yourself, take some breaks, do some restorative things for yourself, because it's a giving proposition 24/7. They don't give you a whole lot back for a while. They're kind of big consumers and takers, and that kind of can empty us out.
Mhm.
But it's so worth it in the end. It's a long road while you're doing it. And then you look back and you say, my goodness, it went so fast. It's crazy how time is, when you're in it, it feels like forever, but it goes very fast. But I think moms need to really take care of themselves spiritually, physically, emotionally, get your rest, exercise, do different things, because you need that, because you're constantly giving. You're in a caregiver role. You're the caregiver, the nurse, the law. You're teaching the rules. The lawyer. You're everything.
Yes, I agree with you so much. I feel like as mothers, there's a lot on your plate. But one of the things too that I really love what you said to Jill, because part of my life coaching is self-love. And I feel, and I always say this, you have to take care of yourself first, so that way you can take care of your others. And I was just mentioning this to my sister. I
Yes.
said, you have to have time as a mother, as a wife, as a full-time employee. And I was like, call me to babysit. So that way you could go get your pedicure
Oh,
and have your you time, and then call me, and my nephew could stay a night for date night. So I like what you said, because when you, and you were a wife, a mom, you had a lot of titles, Jill, but I'm so excited that you committed to the process, and you said, I'm going to be better than my mother was. And here your kids are not, they're not just surviving, but they're thriving. In
yes. What a
Jesus' name.
blessing from God. There's no guarantees, but I did everything in
Right.
my that I knew how to do to hopefully get to the result that we got to. And God sure blessed me with some amazing children. I'm very grateful. And I think it's amazing that you reach out to your sister with that kind of love. I didn't have a lot of that when my kids were little. I didn't have a lot of resources. And you being a resource, that's the greatest gift you can ever give her, honestly. It really is, as she's raising babies. It's
Yes.
what a blessing you are to her. So thank you for making deposits and offering yourself up in that way. That's huge. You have no idea how big that really is.
Oh, thank you, Jill. I'm gonna go back and tell her that. I'm gonna talk to Jill and during my interview, sis. I'm gonna see her later. So thank you for that, Jill. And just like you said, your kids, kids are just, oh my goodness, they are so precious.
They are. They really are. Thank God they're precious, because there's moments when you think, I'm liking you very much right now. And then they do something that's real. They go to sleep and you look at them and they look like little angels and you think, okay, I can get up one more day and do this again. Because it's hard. It's the most selfless task, that goes on for a while. So yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, Jill, thank you so much for that. And Jill, one of the things I absolutely love about you, and you're a coach like I am, you are a confidence coach. Jill, we're gonna break down your business and dive deep. First and foremost, for the audience, from your definition as a God-fearing woman, as you have experience in this field, what is confidence?
Confidence is a belief in yourself, and it is also loving and accepting yourself and a belief in your abilities and who you are. It's amazing. When you have that belief, you're unstoppable. You're limitless, because it's the belief system of fear that keeps us from moving forward. When we
Yeah.
have a belief system in ourselves and also a belief in God, I say, if you're not believing in yourself, then have pray for God confidence. I did that in the beginning. God, I just need God confidence that you're going to make this happen for me. I'll do the work, but you're going to make it happen, because I don't have the belief in myself just yet. But it's a belief in yourself. And when you get that, you love and accept yourself and you trust your intuition, which I believe God plants that intuition in us to have discernment about decisions. I believe that comes from God. And I believe when you don't ignore it and you pay attention to it, it will always serve you in the best way, always. And women, I teach women to learn to trust that, because when you don't have confidence and you're a people pleaser and you're trying to be everything to everyone, you don't trust your decision making ability. You don't
Right.
trust your intuition, because you don't know who you are. And so your belief is like, I don't know who I am. So and so's telling me to behave this way, and so and so's telling me to believe this way. So and so's telling me I should say this. It gets really overwhelming and confusing. And so when you start to believe in yourself, it changes your world, your decisions, your circle of influence, what you do in life. All your relationships get better. It's a truly transformational. It's huge.
Yes, I love your definition too, Jill, because that is confidence. And then, oh, and I love what you said too, because when you don't have confidence in yourself, especially from the beginning, or if you're new, but having saying, God, give me the confidence or confidence, that's something that I've heard, and I love
Yes.
that analogy. So yes,
Yes. Yes. It's
um,
amazing.
Jill, you are a confidence coach. Let the audience know about your journey into your business.
Okay. Well, as you know, you got just a little tidbit of my childhood, right? So growing up, very low self-esteem because I grew up with a mother that was heavily into her alcoholism all through my childhood. And I don't say this to make people feel bad or sad or anything. I say this to give everyone that's listening hope because I was emotionally neglected and the focus was always on her. I became the biggest people pleaser. My number one goal in life was to get love and acceptance from any place I could find it, which set me
Mm,
on the path of unhealthy relationships, um, no boundaries, didn't know who I was, didn't take care of myself. It left me empty and in a lot of worry and fear about what others thought about me. And the whole anxiety just continued to build. I had anxiety all the way through my childhood and mostly in throughout my adult life, not even knowing what that was. I just knew I
right.
constantly had the fight or flight and I was racing and all of that. Well, fast forward, and God's amazing. I started doing some internal work around all of that because I got sick and tired of being stuck in fear and worry and anxiety. And also, just I wasn't fulfilled. I kept myself safe. I wouldn't do anything that took me out of a comfort zone because I didn't think I could do it. I thought I'm going to fail. So I didn't step out ever. It forced me to stay in my little unhappy, unfulfilled box when God was always telling me, you know, you want more. You know, you want more. But I kept ignoring it and ignoring it. And, you know, the thing that we ignore comes back and haunts us and gets bigger and bigger. So I started working on myself and I started learning a belief in Jill and I started self love and self acceptance and boundaries. And let me tell you, my world changed. It opened up. I began to explore my heart's desires. My relationships changed. I started taking more risks with having a little bit of faith and courage and but still feeling the fear, and I started doing things. And then you take one little baby step, you build a little bit more confidence. Okay, that wasn't so scary. Let me try this to step out a little bit more. And then you realize you're not alone in it. Usually
Yeah.
it's not earth shattering. You get through it and you start feeling amazing and you start making decisions based on your belief in yourself instead of fear. And then your actions change. And so I actually, after having done all that work, I left my corporate job totally unfulfilled in it, was coaching
Mm,
people all throughout this corporate job because that's what God anointed me with was coaching, and empathy is my big thing that I have that God planted inside of me. We're all anointed with gifts. And I was using it all along, but not in a professional capacity. People always came to me because they felt safe and I listened without judgment and love. And so then I went through my coaching certification and I grew even more. You go because you want to learn this coaching thing, but what you don't realize is that you're working still through some more stuff and you're growing. And so by the time I finished with that, I said, I want to help women. I want women to know their worth. I want women to be able to build a belief in themselves and they can follow their deepest desires. They can follow what God's put on their heart and not be stuck in fear around it, not let their decisions be fear based. It changes everything in your world when you have a belief in yourself. And so then I left my corporate job in 2019 and I started my women's confidence coaching business.
Yes.
And it's just been amazing. Amazing.
Oh, Jill, thank you for giving us the background. Some things I want to own into our awesome audience. You mentioned that because of the neglect from early childhood, you were a people pleaser. And I love, Jill, how you turned it around in Jesus and said, no, now you're a confidence coach. So I'm telling you, Jill, you're breaking down those generational, and I always say it's important in families that we break down those general curses, but now from where you used to be, you're breaking it and saying, I'm going to give women, so that they don't have to start that way, the confidence that they need. And I absolutely love that.
Yeah. All of us, right? But I just want women to know that no matter what your childhood was like, no matter what people have told you who you are, no matter what your experiences have been, if they've been negative and hurtful or abusive or neglectful, you are not a victim of that. God loves
Yes.
you and accepts you right where you are, and he wants you to use your gifts that he plants inside of you. You just might need a little help from a coach to help you see it, to see things that you can't see, and help you learn to change your thought process from, I guess, I used to think going to college was for the smart people and I wasn't smart enough. How silly was that? So I went to college and I got my degree because I wanted to prove myself wrong, and I was. And then I also used to think that people start successful businesses because they're special and I'm not. Those are
Mm.
beliefs. And those beliefs kept me small in my little box. And those are beliefs that women have. And I was a product of my growing up in my childhood, and having that belief system, but nobody has to stay there. You do
Yes.
not have to be a victim of your circumstances. You can take what you learn and use it. It gave me more empathy and love towards others to know that not everybody grew up with the sparkling childhood. Not everybody had the perfect mom and the dad. It made me be more accepting and loving towards people of all different kinds of backgrounds. So that's the strength and what I went through that benefits others today, and how I use my love and acceptance to guide these women to find their confidence that's inside of them that we just got to pull out.
Yes.
It's powerful.
It is powerful. Jill, there was a few things too that you mentioned on your journey to being a confidence coach. You mentioned that you received your certification. Let our great self-esteem audience know where you received your certification from and what made you, because I talked about a video in one of my videos. I talked about what is life coaching, and some people get a certificate and others is personal experience, and both are extraordinary. What made you say wanted to get a certificate, and where did you receive your lovely certificate from?
I went to it was called Journey at the time. I think they've changed their name to Lumia. And I got my certification through them because I didn't want, when you are working with women, that's lives, that's hearts that are sitting on that Zoom call with you. I wanted to be able to have the professional hours and the professional experience and going, the training around it, so that to not be harmful or hurtful, and to know like the right way to do it. Because just loving on, and a strategy to help women too, right?
Yes.
How to be strategic, because people often become coaches without any background, but there's skills around doing this, and there's methodologies and things that I think is so important to learn to ensure that you're keeping your client top of mind, that it's all about them, and you're not interjecting your biases or your opinions, because you want them at the end of their time with you to rely and believe on them in themselves and trust their own intuition. You don't want them reliant on you. You're just guiding them and leading them to get to that place. And so super important. All the modules were super important. I gleaned so much knowledge. I practiced the majority of it. And then of course my personality comes out, and you know, I'm Jill in the coaching sessions. And I love on these women because I
Yeah.
want them to feel unconditional love and acceptance from me, but also challenged a little bit. So I challenge them with some unconditional love to step out, keep stepping out of that comfort zone just a little. Because in theory, we can talk about, we all want to be confident. And we can read about it and we can listen to podcasts. But if you're not into action, it's not going to happen. At the end
Right.
of the day, you have to make some major changes. Not all at once. Give yourself grace, baby steps, but it can happen. It can really happen. So I wholeheartedly believe in to be safe and make sure you're not doing any harm and going down the wrong path with somebody sitting across from you. It's their life. They're trusting you. It's important to get a certification. I wholeheartedly believe in that.
Awesome. I'm glad you gave that background because we're coaches and people we want our ladies, because I specifically work with ladies, to trust us. And I love that, Jill. And congratulations that you took the time and the effort, because it's so important as individuals, males or women, that we invest in ourselves and whatever that looks like for you. But you made an investment in yourself by getting that certificate, so that way you can invest in the confident women that you're going to continue to meet along this journey. So that's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and the growth that happens when you're going through the program is a huge benefit. You really don't think that you're doing this for you, but you're growing every step of the way. And you're doing a
Yeah.
lot of peer coaching and hours of coaching. So, you know, when you come out, you have pretty substantial practice. And then I did coaching when I came out, pro bono coaching to keep refining my craft. And then I began with my paid coaching. I started with that, but it didn't happen. Like I needed to get the experience and build the confidence around it and how you do it. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, I love it, Jill. I also too, I received certification. I went through the Tony Gaskins Academy because I really like his methodology, and his outlook, his faith-based background. So I
Oh,
went and I got his certification through Tony Gaskins. So shout out to him in the academy. He has some amazing courses up there, and it's just broadened my visions like so much more. I like what you said. I wanted that certification so I know I don't want to hurt anyone, but I want to guide, not put my biases, but guide, and to get phenomenal homework assignments, self-evaluation,
yeah.
homework assignments.
That's right. I love that yours was faith-based. I didn't know faith-based certification was even out there. So
Right.
mine wasn't. But while I was in my cohort, I was talking about God the whole time because
Yes.
when you're a Jesus follower and you're living that life, it's in everything you do. They all knew.
Yes.
They all knew.
Here
So
it is. And even during that time, Jill, from where you went, it's have changed every year. It is changing. So there's something new. But I just love that. So Jill, here you are. You started your business in 2019 and now it is 2022, Jill. Let the audience know, are you a LLC at this time? And what is your name for your confidence coach business?
So it is JillLaxaCoaching.com. I am a sole proprietor, so I didn't do LLC, but I am in business and it is official. And I have a monthly free webinar to all the women out there that struggle with setting boundaries. I found that when I started coaching women, the women that were their self-esteem obviously is low, they don't trust their intuition, they were in letting people walk all over them. They had zero boundaries of any kind. And I thought, I can reach more women if I do a monthly free workshop all around the globe for free and help them get started on their boundary setting journey. Because when I started setting boundaries, it terrified me. And once I did, I started feeling a little bit more confident. Why? Because I was caring for myself. It's the ultimate act of self-love and self-care. And when
Right.
you do that for yourself, you're happier. You have so much more to give to everyone. And so it really powerfully changed me. And I know that it's changing women's lives. And you know what else is happening in these workshops? Women are coming together, Africa, Australia, the US, all over, and sharing their hearts and loving and supporting on each other and creating friendships after my webinar, outside of
Yeah.
my webinar. That's the power. There's so much power, two or more people, right? There's power when
Yes.
there's, and God doesn't want us to do life alone. And they feel so less alone when they come in these workshops because they realize they're not the only one that feels a certain way or that has fear or that thinks, has experienced certain things, that we're all very similar and we all want similar things. We may look a little different, but really we're more alike than not. And the power in that it's just amazing. So I do that. And then that often results in one-on-one coaching. People want to continue furthering their confidence building. I work with people that are in a job that they aren't happy in and they got a dream to be in this one. I kind of create customized plan in my coaching. We work on self-love, self-acceptance pillar. We work on mindset management because that's where everything lives. 80% of our actions and everything are in our mindset management. We work on changing that, and we work on goals. And so that's what I do. But we work on the goals that my client wants to work on. We focus where they want to focus. And then we create a customized plan for their needs, their time, their energy, their bandwidth. What's most important to them? What do they value? I help them get clear on values, super important, because that's how you set boundaries, right? What's most
Yeah.
important to you? And so it's amazing. It's amazing. So I do one-on-one coaching that results in all kinds of different things. It takes so many different twists and turns. I coach people that are in abusive relationships, narcissistic, and they end up leaving those relationships. They get the courage to walk away and their life changes. It's because it's 80% our belief system, 80%. 20% of it is what we do, our actions. But
Yes.
this right here will keep us stuck. And it's amazing how they walk in so fearful in the what if mindset. What if this, what if that, what if this? And I challenge them. What if it works out? What if you're happier? What if you have a lot of great success and you love it? What if it opens up a new amazing relationship that you never dreamed you would have? What
Right.
if on the positive side, instead of I get them away from the what ifs, the sky is falling. What if I can't support myself? What if I don't find somebody? What if I can't find that job? All the negative what ifs, we flip. And when they start changing their mindset, they start getting clarity and open to the possibilities, right? It's
There
amazing.
it
And the
is.
creativity flows. Yeah. Because when you're in fear, you're in fight or flight mode, and it blocks that creative thinking and problem solving ability. It keeps you right in that one spot where you're in protection mode. So you don't think clearly, you can't problem solve, you have zero creativity. So I try to get them out of that so that we can move to the beautiful side of things and for them to see things differently. It's powerful.
Ah, I love it.
I know you know.
Yes, I was just took the words right out of my mouth. I want to say, I know it is powerful. And Jill, you were dropping some juice. Jill, I can't let before we even step on to the next main topic, let the lovely audience know what social media platforms that you're on, where can they connect with you, and also if you can spell out your lovely last name for our audience as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am on, I have 3 social media accounts on Instagram, but you can find me on one. It's JILLLACSA, Jill Lacsa, just my name. And you can find me on Facebook in the same way. You can also search for that workshop on Facebook because it's publicly out there for anyone to request to join. You have to answer some questions and provide your email. And then I send you like a Zoom link and a worksheet. But you can find me on Facebook, and and Instagram. And I'm also on LinkedIn and with the same last name, Jillacsa. So it's 3 L's. Yeah, that's my lovely husband's last name that I took on when I got married to him many, many years ago.
Oh, awesome, Jill. Lovely audience. Go ahead and feel free to connect with Jill on all those platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. She is an awesome confidence coach that wants to bless you. And Jill, I wanted to talk about this because one of your signature workshops is going to be coming up in the following month. Jill, I know what it is, but let our lovely audience know, what is this workshop? What do you discuss? And then let us know where we can connect and when your next upcoming workshop will be.
Oh, yeah, I'm so excited about it. And every time I do one, I say, this was the best one. But I don't know, they're all really amazing because different women are in there and a conversation flows differently. And it's just amazing. So my next one's going to be December 3rd at 10 a.m. Pacific time. It's live on Zoom. It's completely free and it's 90 minutes. We do a ton of stuff in there. We connect with each other. We bless each other with a lot of love and support. And I talk to the women about the fear around boundary setting and the key mindset shift to start walking through the fear so that a boundary can be set. I talk to them about, well, they are going to have a worksheet. They're going to get in touch with what lights them up and who they are and when they feel their best, because you got to know who you are in order to set boundaries. And then I ask them to go to the dark side. I ask them to pick one recurring ugly thing that keeps coming up in their life, that every time they say yes to it, it creates a lot of unhappiness, stress in your body, stress in your heart, your stomach gets upset, anxiety, whatever it is, exhaustion, dread, all the ugly feelings. And I say, get in touch with those, go there, feel it. Then I say, that might be something you need to set a boundary around. And then I give them the 7 tactical steps to setting boundaries. Very practical steps.
Oh, I love it, Jill. A boundaries workshop. I think it is so important because that's even something to this. I've gotten better, but if I'm very honest with you, audience, that is something that I still struggle with even today. Jill, break down, what are boundaries?
Well, they are super important to have healthy boundaries in your life because you will find yourself stretched. You'll find yourself not living authentically. When you give from a place of fear or obligation, you're not being true to who you are because you're showing up with a smile on your face, but inside you're hating every second of it. So it's important that we learn to love and honor and care for ourselves and put ourselves in positions that we want to be in, or minimize things that we don't really love because it's an energy drain and you're really not living and honoring your authentic self, just the way God made you. And, you know, everything that you are you're perfectly and wonderfully made, just the way God made you. So if you don't want to bake those cookies for that bake sale because you're exhausted and you have a full-time job and you're a mom and it's going to drain your energy, say no. We have to honor ourselves and care for ourselves and make sure that we do things that are restorative. Boundaries are hugely important. They are the rules that we set in life on how we teach people to treat us, what we accept and what we do not accept. And it's our job to let people know they are not mind readers. And it's our job to honor ourselves and do that. And there's different kinds of boundaries. The boundary I always struggle with is the boundary with myself in my business. You know, there's things that aren't super fun and I don't want to do them. I want to avoid them because it's not as fun as doing this, right? And connecting with everything that's fun for me is connecting with people. And so if it's something that's paperwork, I don't really love it. So I tend to put it off. But there's boundaries with others. And that's what I focus predominantly on. But everything that I teach in my workshop applies to all different kinds of boundaries. work situations, entrepreneurial, personal, love life, whatever. You can utilize it in any of those situations. And there's different boundaries. There's physical boundaries, right?
Mhm.
That's your personal space. There's
Yeah.
emotional boundaries, your thoughts, your feelings, the way you think, and being able to do that without criticism and setting boundaries there. There's sexual boundaries, right? And that's what we allow and how we allow ourselves to be touched. It's what we're comfortable with and what our boundary is. And there's the religious side, and that's your spiritual beliefs and practices. So it's important to, honor all of those areas of your life because they're all of who you are. So without boundaries, and you're just allowing people to walk all over you, and you're being everything to everybody and people pleasing, and you're trying to get this love, there's no guarantees they're going to love you if you say yes all the time, but there's one guarantee. You're going to be unhappy, you're going to be exhausted, and you're going to be empty. So you might as well say no and love and care for yourself and say yes to the things that bring you joy and light you up.
I absolutely love that. Jill, just relating to you when like you said, this is fun, connected, but what you mentioned about, and I'm newer, the paperwork aspect, like you said, just having a boundary. I'm like, you gotta write it in your calendar, Amber. And when you put it on your calendar that day, you gotta take care of the paperwork piece too.
Yes.
So you can continue to be successful. So it's so funny that you said that because honestly, I'd be feeling the same way with paperwork as well. And Jill, I love what you mentioned about boundaries because that all plays into your confidence. You have to set boundaries to build your confidence. And so that way your no means no, and your yes actually truly means yes, and not the vice versa.
Say what you mean and mean what you say. And it's interesting because the people that love you and support you will be respectful of those boundaries.
Yes.
And the ones that don't, they'll just weed themselves out and just kind of go away. And really, we don't want those kind of relationships. We don't want those unhealthy relationships. You can always love them and pray for them from a distance.
Yes.
They don't have to, obviously, I had to let somebody go. When I went through my coaching program, I started to see a theme of kind of like victimization and I was wrong and my feelings didn't matter and I was a bad person. And I knew all that was not true about me. And I thought, holy cow, I've worked all this time to get my self-esteem strong and my belief in myself. You don't get to be in my circle to chip away at that. I've worked too hard to get where I am for you to just tell me a different story that I now know today is not true. But when I was vulnerable, I would have believed that. I would have felt so bad about myself. The person said really mean things to me just because I shared my heart about something. And I was just being honest. And I thought, oh, you got to go. So I ended a female friend relationship because she had no self-reflection. She blamed everybody in her life for everything and took no responsibility. And that was a drain. I said, oh, no, you have nothing to give to this relationship. So it's important that we set boundaries with people like that or eliminate people like that altogether if you can. If they're family members, it's more challenging, but you can minimize your time with them to keep yourself strong and rooted in who you are and loving and accepting yourself and not allowing poor treatment. We have so much power with boundaries and, just stepping into it and just knowing that you're just going to be when you say yes to saying no, you're happier. You're just happier. It's amazing. And the energy that you have, you're not drained. I was exhausted like the last few times with that person, exhausted and I want to lay out on the couch. And I said, holy cow, when I connect with women, I'm usually energized in this one-on-one environment. I'm loving every second of it. I'm filled up. And I was depleted because I was giving, and it wasn't reciprocal. You can't be in those one-sided relationships. Now, it's okay to give in a moment when someone's in need. But if that's the constant theme, take a look at setting a boundary with that individual or eliminate them. because
Yes.
they don't have anything to give.
Mm,
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying this conversation. Jill, you dropped so many seeds, and I've said this on one of my topics before of how some people you need to love from a distance. And I feel like everyone comes into your life, even though we might not understand that at the moment, but everyone comes into your life for a reason. But there's only a few that might stay around for a season, and then those that stay around for a lifetime. So I feel like your boundary workshop takes in on that so you can own it. So audience, go check out Jill's boundary workshop upcoming on December 3rd. It will truly bless you. And Jill, oh, the audience doesn't know this, and I want them. I really enjoyed, and you put it as an analogy, you were zip lining. Let our phenomenal audience know, why did you use that analogy, and what was the purpose of it to the beautiful ladies that you are serving and will and are going to serve in the future as well?
Oh, because it was the scariest thing I ever did. Oh my gosh. We were in Cabo and I agreed to do this because my husband's kind of a thrill seeker. But what I didn't realize, yeah, I knew it was going to be high. You have to be on your back looking up so you can't see where you're going. I thought, well, if I'm sitting up, I can see. Oh no, the deal was that you're strapped in and you're on your back. And now I'm way up here looking up at the sky and I can't see which way is up. It was terrifying. It was terrifying. But you know what? I prayed about it and I leaned into my faith and I said, you know what, God? They told me, because here's what they said. You're very light, because I work out. I'm kind of small. My weight's not a lot. And he said, because you're light, you might stop in the middle and not make it to the other side. Amber, it happened. It happened. Here I go. Boom. Oh no, my worst fear happened. My husband's on the other side. I'm laying there looking up and they go, it's okay. We told you this might happen. Turn yourself around and just do hand over fist. And I
Oh,
just said, God, you're going to get me to the other side. And if you don't, then I know it's my time to meet you in heaven. I really was that scared. I really was. But I said, I think you want me on this earth a little longer to touch more women's lives. So I'm going to trust you that no matter what, I'm going to be okay. And guess what? I got to the other side. But little did I know there were 7 more of those things I had to go through because there was like 7 of them. And I said, maybe that's just good. My husband said, no, you're committed now. You know you can do it. He said, you're a women's confidence coach. You have to keep stepping out in uncomfortableness because you have
yes.
to live it. And I was like, I know I do. Okay. and I did it. And I just want women to know that no matter how scary it is, you can get through it. Just trust God, have a little courage, and it's okay to feel the fear at the same time because women want to just pray the fear away. Read the book about that Joyce Meyer put out, Do It Afraid. She's a Christian. She did that book on Do It Afraid. Read that book. Just know that the only way you get past fear is to walk through it. It doesn't go away unless you take the action. So
Mm.
I use that because I was terrified and I wanted people to see my vulnerability and know that it scared me to death. Like I'm walking around confident 24/7 because you know what, Amber? When you walk through one fear, there's
Mm.
always another one waiting around the corner. There's always another one that says, you're not finished growing. Now you got to go learn this. Because when I got my business, I was scared of technology. I had to learn so much technology to do these webinars, so much technology. And I was like, okay, God, I'm learning. I'm going to give myself grace and I'm going to step into it. And you know what? Every time you do it, you build confidence. That's what builds confidence. Trusting God.
Absolutely. Oh, Jill, I love it. Thank you for that analogy, because when I saw that post, I said I gotta have her talk about it. So thank you so much. And audience, Jill talks about so much in confidence. We touched upon some, but we talked about boundaries. She also discusses body image. She talks about confidence. So there's so much. So definitely check her out. Yes, Jill, thank you for all that you do for women to build up their confidence in so many topics. We briefly talked about some, but thank you for all that you do to boost women's confidence.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for this resource of this radio and this outlet to get the word out. Right? Just think if all the women had belief in themselves in this world, what amazing things they could do. It's powerful. So I think one person at a time. Amber, you and I can change the world. You and I can
Yes.
change the world.
Oh, God is so good for that. And Jill, what are some therapeutic words that you would like to leave with our awesome audience on today's episode?
I want women to know you are worthy and you're
Mm,
perfect right where you are. It doesn't mean you don't want to stop growing, but love yourself right where you are. Love and accept yourself and know that you are worthy of living the life that God's planted inside of you. Just know that. You can build this self confidence one baby step at a time. It's a
oh,
skill.
yes. I absolutely love it. Jill, thank you again so much for showing up on Therapeutic Tea Tuesday as the honest, beautiful, God-fearing woman that you are. This has been an awesome, awesome interview. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. And I'm so grateful to have you in my life and be connected with you. Let's do it again.
Yes, we definitely will. We were saying audience like planning out the whole year. Now, Jill, I maybe not the year, but I can plan a month where me and you can connect out. We for next year as we get into 2023. I am all for it.
That sounds fantastic. We need more love in the world that we need to spread to all these women because I'm telling you, social media is doing a number on them. They're comparing and they're having self doubt, and we want to help them not have that self doubt and have that
Yes.
love. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so from our words to yours, audience, you'll see Jill and me, our life coach, Miss Starr, again working together. And we pray that this interview blesses you. Yeah, go check out Jill Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, December 3rd, her amazing boundary workshop. She will truly bless you and boost your confidence. And thank you, everyone, for joining me every Tuesday right here on Therapeutic Tea Tuesday on Red Media Radio for an inspiring interview. You can connect with me at mymentor.life/Amber Starr and on all social media platforms, Life Coach Miss Starr, specializing in self-love and healing and faith. And this episode, Breakthrough, Jill will help you break through. Create those healthy boundaries, which are so important. Check out her workshop in business. Believe in yourself for your business. So, thank you for joining us for Breakthrough Boundaries and this business interview with Jill. Thank you, thank you, thank you. From Red Media Radio, keep it locked every Tuesday, and God bless. And thank you, everyone, for joining us right here on YouTube. I'm going to link all Jill's information in the box below. So check it out. And don't forget to go ahead and like, give a thumbs up, hit that bell button, and subscribe. Thank you so much, Jill, again.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
And Jill and I are sending an abundance of blessings your way, and have a blessed day. Love ya.